Hey everybody, I thought I would give you a tour of my shop this morning. It's about 5 a.m., so it's nice and quiet, but we'll go ahead and show you where I get to work every day, which is kind of fun. So starting over here, this is where I film my YouTube videos and do my electronics work. And this is my computer section. I'll give you a more detailed look in a minute, but I just kind of want to get you guys the perspective. Back in that room is where I keep the laser and do bike repair and kind of storage. But let me give you a little bit more detail. So when you come in the office, first thing you may notice is the office cat. This is Meredith, everybody. She keeps me calm and just keeps an eye on my code, helps me to know when I'm doing things wrong. Generally, she just lays around, does pretty much nothing. If we come over here, you'll see that I have this toolbox that I kind of store some miscellaneous parts in. I've got project parts that sit in that little bin next to it. Kind of junk collectors, to be honest with you. Up top, we have the tubs. Let me give you a walk down over there so you can see them. As you can see, not all of them are labeled. There's some that I'm still trying to decide kind of my final categorizations for them. What I basically do is the ones to the right are used the least frequently. And as we get into this center section, about where you see miscellaneous controllers, that is kind of the ones that get used all the time that I'm grabbing. And then coming down here to the left, we're going to get back into the ones that I don't use all that much. And down at the end, I have some bigger tubs that have things that are just too much of them or too bulky to fit in the normal ones. I have my big buttons and labels and laser cutting supplies. Coming over here, I have my YouTube dream board. It doesn't have super detailed things on it right now. I need to step that up a little bit. I've got all my wires and tapes and things like that. This kind of wire is actually crazy expensive if you've never gone out and actually bought it. So if I find it for $1 at a yard sale, I take it. Down here we have some miscellaneous storage bins. I am planning on bringing more of those into the office. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. Down here we have things that are either in process of being reviewed or have just been opened or things like that that are kind of waiting their YouTube glory. Down here we have some robot parts. This is kind of interesting. This is what I take on the road when I need to do like Arduino development. So I throw this in there and I have ESP32, a microbit, ESP8266, Ethernet shield, Mega, maybe a screen, and then I also have started carrying around this thing from Grove because it gives me a bunch of sensors and stuff like that that I just have with me. So this gets thrown in a bag so I can write code and actually compile it on the device. I'm not going to go through every bin because I think that would be kind of boring, but I've got, I keep the Hantac scope over here. I have some things that are kind of bulky that I need quick access to. Use the ESP32s, the relays a lot. Things like that I just grab all the time. We have adhesives and glue guns and stuff like that in here. There's my collection of breadboards and some other components that I kind of want quick access to or have just kind of found their way in here. And then as we come up here, I have resistor storage, which I need to do a better job with that, to be honest. I want to work on a nicer resistor storage thing. Down here, I have some other kind of more categorized things. So I've got all of my breadboard jumper wires. I have salvaged 18650s, LEDs, things like that. And I try to keep those all labeled in these little tubs here. And I have some empty tubs and just some more labeled stuff. Over here, I have my jumper wires that have been mostly used. I kind of throw them in here so that I can use them for projects. I try not to take new ones if I already have used ones just sitting there. As we come down this wall, it's a lot of miscellaneous stuff that I don't want buried in tubs. Like it could be stuff that I'm in the middle of working on. There's some project parts, plus things like zip ties and heat shrink and Velcro and all that kind of stuff that I just kind of want accessible. I have some projects that are in progress, just kind of in bags hanging up there so I can get to them quickly. And then carabiners and staple guns and things like that. So this is my soldering station. I have this light thing with the absolutely love it, light magnifying glass. I have this DIY solder holder. If you don't use this stuff, this copper stuff to clean your soldering iron, you're missing out. I sold my other soldering station, but I have this Hacko 888D, which I absolutely love. The thing is phenomenal. I have an old soldering holder that I refurbished a while ago. It's a Weller, like a really old unit. Love that thing. And then after getting rid of my solder station, I decided I wanted that tiny heat gun, and that thing is fantastic too. Plus a light that you saw in a recent haul video. Coming over to this side, I have some things I want quick access to, like my tripods and my desoldering thing and my electronics kits. And then I've got some coating array kits over there, and then more things I just kind of want quick access to, HDMI cables, network cables, stuff like that. And then some bins of projects and enclosures and all that that I still need to label. Coming down here is my YouTube section and kind of my electronics maker section. I keep the Ryobi tools that I want quick access to, things that I want to have right off to my right as I'm doing videos and stuff like that. These tools down here are the ones that are kind of least used. We have the moisture meter and, you know, like a hammer and things like that. I don't use that a lot during electronics unless it's going really poorly. Coming around here, we have some of these squeeze clamps. I have more of them, but these get used all the time in projects. In fact, I'm using one to the right now. I've got my crimpers, my Klein temperature gun, and then we're getting into screwdrivers and cutting and all of that kind of stuff. Over here to the left is stuff that I want handy, but just kind of keeping it out of the shot. I have this pluggable dock, which is amazing. It's connected to my computer, so these Arduinos could be connected to the computer. Right now, I have a Raspberry Pi 4 that I'm doing a camera test with. You can see I'm using one of those squeeze clamps to hold the camera because there's no good way to mount the thing. Got my bench power supply, and then as I step back here, you can see that I have this monitor here, which is connected to my PC, so I can flip it around and view it on my PC that way. But when I'm recording YouTube videos, generally what I'm recording is up there on the screen, and then I have my two camera mounts depending on what angle I'm looking at. So this thing can be stretched out. This one kind of gets way down here for low shots. So there's that. This is my computer station over here. 6 27 and 28 inch monitors. I'm running them all in 1080p, which may be to the chagrin of some of you guys. As you can see, I didn't particularly clean up for this video. I try to keep it in about this condition. There is my keyboard. It's a Cherry MX Blue. I cannot recommend this HyperX Quadcast microphone enough. I love that it has the mute thing on top. That is just a fantastic microphone for about 160 bucks. I tried the Blues and the Snowballs and the, you know, the Samsungs and all those things, and this thing, legit. So coming back over here, I have my tower. Oh yeah, one more thing. So these desktops have actually survived pretty well. This is just, some of these have, I think they have clear on them now, but you know, they've survived really well for being 2 years of taking abuse. But I do put down these coasters. I love these little floppy disk coasters here. My wife got me those off Amazon. I have the PC over here, which is the Ryzen 7 2700X. I mean, I would replace it with like a 5950, but I don't think, well, for one thing, I can't get one, but I don't think I would see enough of an improvement to make it worth it. I do have a rack down here that isn't really being used for very much. And then over here, I keep all of my basic stuff that I need quick access to. Well, there's a graphics card there that I pulled out of frustration, but SD cards and adapters and thumb drives and stuff like that. This is workstation 2, where I keep my laser printer, hide my pencil sharpener back there. This is for a future project. It's a Raspberry Pi case. Up here, I have some things I want quick access to, like my little power bricks and, you know, DVI adapters and stuff like that. This is where I charge the Ryobi batteries. I have this monitor here for repairing computers. This is where I watch TV, and generally what I do is I put Pi 3 and below, 3B and below on this one. I've got an HDMI cable just dragging down here. I'll show you why in a minute, but generally this thing has the TV or whatever on it. I have my Ender 3, which is in need of repair over here. And then this is the monitor for the server up there, for that Xeon server. I almost never use the monitor here. Every once in a while I will if I need to sit down with a keyboard and mouse, but for the most part I VNC into this thing. So this also has This has the mini HDMI or micro HDMI or whatever they call that for the Pi 4s. And speaking of Pi 4, I have the RASPad down there that I would love to use more, but the thing is so freaking loud. So I got to figure that out. Yeah, so that's this station. Somebody else working in the office, they'll come over here and set up shop. There's Ethernet and all that stuff. I do have back here, I've got a Retro Pi, which is unplugged right now, and a Pi that is running all of the, you know, the IoT stuff for my office, as well as a small network switch. And then up above us, tucked up behind the thing, in fact, I can show you that. Way back there, I have a power conditioner, and you can't even see it, but there's a 24, 32, something like that, gigabit network switch up there. These bins are empty at the moment, and then over here I have things like 12-volt fans and hard drives and even power bricks. I always save the power bricks. In fact, let me bring this down. I know this is a bit OCD, but I learned the hard way to just take these things and bag them up, you know, so that you can read the numbers on them and the wires get all untangled. And I just find myself being able to get to the things a lot better when I separate them in boxes like this. Over here in the lower shop, this gets used for a lot of different things. This top shelf is my Ryobi tools that I want to have over here, but I don't need on the desk or anything like that. I have this monitor here is for the laser cutter, which is a K40 laser cutter. Paid 200 bucks for that, worth every single penny. And this Lenovo computer runs that. Now, it was running my CNC, which was over here, but I got rid of it because I hated it. So these are laser supplies, different kinds of laser woods and acrylics, and this stuff is kind of cool. This is like blue wood, and it's blue all the way through, which is kind of cool. So I've got that. This is my, which I don't know why this isn't over there, but this is the my soldering fume extractor. Has a little variable knob over there, and then I took these things and I put them on air fittings so I could actually move them around and hold things right in front of the fan and use that for desoldering. This cart kind of gets used as a keyboard cart when I'm not, you know, when I'm doing a lot of laser stuff. Right now it's got my 3D printer stuff on it and my battery operated chop saw down there. I know this is a little ghetto, but I keep my trash bag just hanging up here. Stuff doesn't fall out of it. I'm not taking up a lot of space for, you know, for something on the floor. I have these catch-all bins here, which some of them are projects that are in progress, things like shop towels, drill bits, stuff like that. Just miscellaneous stuff. I don't know. Same thing with these bins down here. Back here, I have boxes of things that could potentially get returned. And then 8-foot lumber, you can see down here, there's like, you know, cedar 1x2s and stuff that like I want access to, but I don't need them to take up a whole lot of important real estate. Coming down this way, we have some more kind of catch-all bins. I just know that if I need a miscellaneous washer, I can come grab it in here. These little handles, kind of weird, bulky things that I don't really know what else to do with. I'm thinking about putting bins. I'm thinking about putting those like slide-out drawer bins all along here because I have tons of them. And this is kind of wasted space, but up here you can see I have, this is my pegboard wall for bike repair stuff. This room is kind of narrow, so I can really only do normal bikes in here. If I want to do my recumbent, I pull that out and put it in the main shop. But it's still nice to have everything out here. These tools having quick access to them. And to be honest, I use things like these Allen wrenches and these nut drivers and things like that. I use those all the time, so it's just kind of nice to have them in a place that you can do something with them and just know where they're at. And then over here is kind of my miscellaneous storage. We've got screws and nuts and parts washer, and these are things like, you know, my cables. So, you know, just all my PC cables look like a mess, but I at least know they're all in that one bin. So yeah, all that stuff is there. Coming around here, just stuff. I mean, stuff you need a place to put it. I've got stuff for future teardowns. I've got a PS3. I have this sonar thing, X-Acto pencil sharpener, laser tag. All that kind of stuff is just in here ready to be torn down if I ever get the interest. And then you guys have definitely seen my bathroom. I'll go ahead and insert a clip of this thing in action. I have an entire video of how I built this thing and just explaining the fact that this, in order for this to work, this thing has to slide. So how the entire door slides and all that kind of stuff. It's like a 2-inch thick solid door. So a lot of engineering kind of goes in on that. Anyway, that is my workshop, and I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I hope to do this about once a year so I can kind of go over the things I like and don't like about my shop. You know, for instance, this stain, I knew it wasn't going to be a long-term solution, but this stain is starting to wear out on the floor a little bit here, and so, you know, starting to look a little grungy. Might need to think of some new floor solutions. I moved in the office kind of quickly. My business kind of took off a lot faster than I expected it to, so I wish I would have rounded these edges over and things like that. Just didn't have time. Went straight to work. So yeah, so I'm kind of stuck with that. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll pull it all out and run the router down there, make a giant mess, but that just doesn't seem like a lot of fun. So anyway, this is my office. This is what it looked like in February of 2021. Hey, thanks for watching. Have a great day.